This up? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
The incidence rate of cancers across the country have remained stable for the most part in each province. The exception is Manitoba, where cancer has been falling. For two of the Canadian provinces, we do not now have the data, but overall, the incidence rate of cancer has been falling. That does not mean, however, that the incident rate for all cancers has been falling. For some, it's increased, and for others, it has not. Overall, though, it's been fairly stable. Cut. I know I blinked a bunch of times and closed my eyes and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, but keep going. You can cut that out later.
Huh?
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
I'm going to re-say it.
You can redo that. We go.
Okay.
Okay.
Overall, the incidence rates of cancer across Canadian provinces, all Canadian provinces, have remained fairly stable over the past 5 or so years. The only exception is in Manitoba, where the incident rate has been falling. Having said that, though, the incident rate of cancers are not the same for each cancer across the province, across Canada. So, for instance, some have increased, others have decreased, but the overall level has remained stable. There's some really interesting statistics, though, with respect to the relationship between cancer and income levels. A couple of studies show that women in upper income communities are more likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer, for instance, than women in lower economic communities. That particular study was done by way of postal code, and there was a Vancouver study that specifically concluded that women in higher social classes tend to be diagnosed more frequently with breast cancer. Here's another statistic that may be interesting to you. Black men, black women, Aboriginal men, and Aboriginal women each have much lower survival rates than non-Hispanic white men and women. Okay. In the United States, one study showed that insurance coverage is an important factor in determining whether or not one... Let me just get this point covered.
Use 3 cameras. You're only using one so far. Use all 3 of them.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean just looking in?
Yeah, use them.
Okay. In the United States, let me just get my beer in here. In the United States, for instance, one study showed that insurance coverage should be part of the comprehensive approach used for dealing with cancer in lower economic groups. And that's specifically to ensure that disparities are dealt with. In the United States, one study concludes that insurance coverage for... In the United States, one study shows that insurance coverage for colorectal cancers is an important factor in dealing with, and to be considered when dealing with, disparities across ethnic and socioeconomic classes. Can you hear that? Some other interesting statistics. Some other interesting statistics about cancer. Prostate cancer, for instance. The rate of prostate cancer varies fairly high amongst provinces. For instance, colorectal cancer is highest in Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. Colorectal cancer is highest in Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. Lung cancer is highest amongst men in Quebec. And apart from Newfoundland and Labrador, breast cancer and the incident rate of breast cancer appears to be consistent across provinces. 50% of all people diagnosed with cancer are over 70 years of age. 50% of all people diagnosed with cancer will be over the age of 70. And apart from Newfoundland and Labrador, the incident rate of cancer across Canadian provinces appear to remain the same or fairly stable. Another study showed that lower income women are 15% less likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer than women in a higher socioeconomic status. One study showed that women in lower socioeconomic categories are 15% less likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer than women in the top quintile of the socioeconomic ladder. Anything else? Okay. All right, let's see what that looks like so far.
And then there's just two more things about race that I want to